Hey guys, this is John from Neon Empire. We're excited to announce that we featured on D-Metal Galaxy Friday the 19th of March. Excited to see you then. This is one not to be missed.
So, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Tonight we are still continuing with the Irish tour and all the way, as it's the St. Patrick's month, an Irish band, and this time something different, something hip, electric, and it's Neon Empire. So I'm passing the microphone so they can say hello and introduce themselves.
Hey guys, my name's John and I am the vocals, mainly screams, and I'll pass it to Hassan.
Hey guys, I'm Hassan. I'm the guitarist and I mainly handle the cleans.
Hey, I'm Veronika and I smash drums.
Hi, I'm Tom and I play bass in the band.
Cool. Nice to have you guys here. So, first question, I would like to, go from the very, very beginning. So, can you tell us about how the band was formed and where the idea came from?
Yeah, so initially me and Hassan and at a later stage Veronika as well were in a previous band. Hassan actually put an ad in a metal group about a project that they were in. They were trying to start kind of like metalcore, deathcore project. And then I reached out to Hassan and we started playing and we had a couple of, let's say, half-written songs. But it was never kind of getting anywhere. Let's say we kept having members come and leave. We were playing the same songs every week of practice, and it was just very like stagnant. It wasn't getting anywhere. And then one day, Hassan essentially came to me and was like, "I've got this solo project. I have these songs pretty much written. I need some screams." And then initially, Hassan didn't really know that I could scream, and I was like, I want to scream on that. And Hassan was a bit like, I don't know. And I was just like, yeah. And then our song, Distorted Reality, we ended up doing a demo for. And I think around that same stage as well was when we got introduced to Veronika. And Veronika came into our project that we're working on at the time. And that was probably a terrible experience for her. And I apologize. I'm so happy to not run away at that stage.
It's okay.
And then eventually that just disbanded. There was friction, and then we were like, right, Veronika was there for a couple of practices, and then we're just going to continue solely with the stuff that Hassan had written. And then we were trying to recruit a couple of members for that, for a bassist, and I'm not going to lie, I was totally against it. The day that we were with Tom, I was pretty annoyed. I did not want it.
You want to backtrack the bass.
I wanted to backtrack the bass because it was just taking so long to get things going. And then the minute we were sitting with Tom in Starbucks, and then after 5 minutes, I was kind of like sitting back and I took out my phone. I messaged Hassan, who was beside me, and I was like, I love this guy. And then Tom came to his first practice, literally gave it all his socks. He was in his first practice. He was literally like, he was on stage. Like he made me feel like I was on stage, and I'd never been on a stage at that time, practicing with him. And then just everything from there came together. And Tom has like so much knowledge in music theory as well, that the kind of four of us ended up solidifying what Hassan had kind of done a skeleton for and written. And then that's how everything then came together, and it's been smooth rolling since.
Cool. And what about your personal experiences in different bands, different projects? So how did that help you in this one?
That's a question for the other guys, because I wasn't in any other bands.
Okay, let's start with Tom.
Oh man, I think this is probably like the first metal band that I've been in. I wasn't in a very like I didn't have a very metal positive upbringing. There weren't a lot of metal role models around me. So it was a lot of like indie groups and things like that with constant feedback that you shouldn't be like maybe moving around as much, or like we're trying to go for a more reserved performance. So constantly battling against that, it's once you hit Neon Empire, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh, now suddenly we can get as wild as we want, which is like my favorite part of being in this band, is getting to those like live performances where we really get to like let our frustrations out. So yeah, most of the previous music experience was like having to keep myself staying still, and now I can fly free.
Cool. And what about Veronica?
So I had few bands before, but Neon Empire is my first Irish band because they are first guys I've met here, and I stayed with them since. And before I had a death metal band when I started. I had some punk rock bands, but it was never the music I wanted to play, like really. But with these guys, I finally play music I love to even listen to. So it's like very positive thing for me.
That's cool. Hassan?
Yeah, so for me, I was kind of in a couple of bands beforehand. They were always kind of geared towards more metal. Actually, so there was one in Tralee that I was in. It was called Damaged Goods. It was more post-hardcore kind of band, but that kind of eventually developed into a different sound altogether. But then by the time we kind of started developing the sound, the vocalist went to England and the band kind of broke up over some internal drama. So my brother actually at the time, who's an amazing drummer, wrote a load of black metal songs, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to play in a black metal band with me?" I was like, "Okay," just for something to play. So I ended up being a guitarist and a vocalist, screams for a black metal band for a couple of years. We were called Scylla. We managed to like win the Battle of the Bands in our town, and the Rose of Tralee Festival. We played like the main stage of that and everything. Yeah, but the problem was I was screaming and I was not doing it properly, so I damaged my voice, and kind of the band went a bit downhill from there. We kind of took a long break. Then I was in college, so had some time to not really do much, but I've been songwriting since I picked up the guitar, and I was like, screw this, I'm just gonna write a lot of songs while I'm waiting for college to be over. And by the time that finished, we kind of got into Trapped in Atlantis with the band that John was talking about, which is where we met, and eventually just developed into this.
That's cool.
So you were a corpse paint, like the real black metal outfit?
Well, eventually we got to a point where it wasn't corpse paint, but we used to go on stage with no shirts and a lot of fake blood. It was very annoying. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys have been on stage much, but it's very warm, so the blood will be melting into your eyes while you're playing, and it burns.
Oh my god.
So I guess it was pretty metal.
Yeah, pretty metal, but interesting, like without shirt and so on, black metal.
Yeah, it was something different.
Cool. So, guys, who is the godfather of the name Neon Empire?
Oh, I think that's
John?
me.
That's John.
Oh, yeah.
So, can you tell us about how this name came?
Okay, so the story of this one isn't too interesting. So there was a point where we were literally just throwing band names into a group chat, and we were literally just anything. We were throwing anything in, and Neon Empire was in there, and pretty much everything that went in, we were like vetoing. Everyone was like, "No, not feeling it." And I said Neon Empire, and then everyone was like, "Ugh, no." And then I think it's 2 days later. I think one of yous were like, "I'm kind of vibing to Neon Empire," and I was like, "Yes!" And then I think the others are kind of like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Come on!" And then eventually we settled on Neon Empire. Do you guys remember any of the other names that we had? Shattered Skies.
Oh yeah. But then we realized there was a band on Spotify with like over 10,000
name.
followers or something.
Nice name.
Yeah, there were...
Funny thing, we actually ended up auditioning a guy who had been in that band, when we found out. So we were kind of settling on Shattered Skies, and then eventually one of us found a band on Spotify who had the name, and we were like, oh damn. And then eventually we auditioned the guy, and he was just like, I was in that band, and we were like, right.
Crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually did not like the name Neon Empire. It took a long time for it to grow on me.
Did you have any other name in your mind?
No.
I think something with Atlantis, like we were thinking about that name somehow to incorporate or like oceans or these basic
Oh,
metalcore
yeah.
names.
Atlantis is nice, yeah.
You know the band Vision of Atlantis?
I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. So, Veronica, how is it to be the only girl in the band, and any funny moments with the guys?
I love it. Like I usually was just with the bands with only guys. I was usually the only girl, so it's pretty normal to me. Like it doesn't make any difference really. I just feel like they're my friends, and we are usually on the same page, and we understand each other's humor and these kind of things. So that's a great part. And also my boyfriend is not jealous, which is also awesome, and he's actually friend with my guys from the band, so that's a cool thing. So
Most important, both.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So it's great. I don't see any like negative things. Positive, they usually try to help me carry stuff, probably because they think I'm weak or something. Maybe. But
I mean, I mean, carrying stuff down 3 flights of stairs is tough.
but that's it.
So Veronica, so tell me your story about the drums, how you started, and why you choose to play drums.
I started pretty late, I think, because I was already 17 or 18. So I was in high school, almost like finishing high school. And my father, he used to play drums when he was younger and before he had me. So I found his drums in our like weekend house. So I bring them home and I just started to learn. He showed me a few things. I think I maybe had it in me because of him, because he was a drummer before. So I always like inclined to these things, and he was showing me like Neil Peart from Rush when I was younger, and I was amazed, like wow, that's awesome. So that's probably how I started. So basically, on my old father's drums in my room, and yeah.
Your father used to be drummer for which kind of band?
He used to. That's a good question. I don't really know. Like, it was like some local band in Slovakia, and it was during the time when like music was mostly like forbidden because of communism. So you could only play music that was allowed by like government or whatever. So he was mostly playing on like weddings and these kind of things. Even though he is a rocker, like he loved like Pink Floyd, Rush, and Yes, and these kind of older bands. But he wasn't playing this kind of music because it wasn't really allowed. It was mostly like forbidden.
Okay. And who is your favorite drummer? You said something about Russ, but do you have any other?
Oh yeah, he was huge inspiration for sure. But like every good drummer is my inspiration basically, and usually it's obvious drummers from bands I'm listening to. So bands like Architects, August Burns Red Periphery, these kind of like very technical drummers. I really love them, and I would love to be on the level they are.
Okay, cool.
So time for a random Irish question.
John.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone.
Okay, starting with John. What makes you Irish?
Well, it all started with my parents. Well, the best answer is that I've lived here my whole life and I don't know a word of the language. That's that's the best thing. Other than that, I know nothing Irish, so I'm going to pass this up to Tom.
Fair enough. Tom?
It's a good question. I would say something along the lines of like not taking things too seriously, like ripping the piss out of everything. There's something about that I think, where regardless of where you're from, if you have that vibe, it feels distinctly Irish to me. Although maybe that's every country, maybe that's just humans, but I don't know, there's something about it that feels Irish to me.
For sure, it's in Ireland. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, Ireland.
It's like part of our DNA not to take things seriously and like kind of undermine what we're doing a little bit, try and make everything a joke.
Yeah.
Hassan?
Loving to have the crack.
And Veronika?
Oh, that's a tough question for me because I'm here just 3 years, but I
But it's
feel
already
like
3 years, you know?
yeah. No, but I feel like Slovak people and Irish people have like very much in common, probably because of the history and all these things. And we are like both the nation love alcohol and to party, so.
But you have cheaper beer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it never a party with Slovak and Irish people. It never ends well.
And Polish.
It ends up in toilet in the morning.
Yeah. So
that I'm completely guilty of. That anytime it comes to anything that involves any slight bit of risk, just be like, "Oh, be grand."
Oh yeah.
But in
So-
Slovakia, you have cheaper beers, so that's the point.
Yeah.
For Slovakia.
Yeah,
Oh,
I actually miss those beers in here because I need to admit I don't really like Guinness. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Exactly. Guinness is like
This interview's
no.
over. Let's end it now. That's it.
Guinness is
Yeah, we're
nasty.
kicking Veronika out.
I love like in Slovakia, like in Bratislava, you have the half-liter beer and you just drink it.
And
And
it's
then I
so
was-
much, and it's cheaper, so much cheaper than here.
Exactly.
But you can
And then-
find you can find in some places here.
Mm.
The Czech beers, Slovak beers.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but
or Czech beers, probably
Yeah,
even,
exactly.
even more.
Yeah.
But there you pay like €2 and drink, and here you pay 5 or 3 euros to drink this. It's like cry, fun is
Yeah.
gone. So let's go with another weird question. Top 5 Irish habits.
Ooh,
Oh.
Your time starts now.
okay. I'll start first. So, one of us needs to do 2. So I'll start with 1, which is I'm going back to anything that involves one of my friends who don't want to do something that I want to do, or I want them to do. Is I will tell them it will be grand over and over and over.
Saying bye repeatedly when you're hanging up. Bye.
Oh yeah, I hate it.
Yes.
But I was really confused when I came here. I was like, people wants to call you all the time. Like at work, instead of writing you email, they're gonna call you instead, or they write you email and they call you after. Like, have you received my email? And they're gonna talk to you. And like, why? I don't want to talk to you. I just want to write you. So stop calling me.
Oh, I would say pretending Guinness actually tastes good. Right, that is a big thing. And like, if other people say they don't like Guinness, doing the like, oh, how dare you? Like,
They're
I'm not
gonna
sure if
hate
anyone
us.
actually likes it.
They're gonna hate us in Ireland now.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we're done. This is it. This is over.
And also, I'm not sure, like, if people really want to know how am I, because how are you, like, they say this in like greetings, and I'm not sure if they actually want to know, like, how is my day going, or if it's just hi. So
Look, we have an agreement from the crowd. Guinness is downfall. So I wonder
That's so
if this
bad.
is an Irish person or a foreign person. But
she's
at
very
least some-
Irish.
Ah,
Yeah, Guinness. I didn't have my first Guinness till I think it was like 2 years ago before a concert. My friend was like, "I'm getting you a Guinness, and you're gonna love it." And I was like, "All right." Took a sip, and have you? Do you remember when you were a kid and your parents would be like, "Oh, taste this like alcohol"? They'd be in a pub or something. They'd be like, "Oh, take a sip of that," and then you'd make this face where your face would shrivel into itself. You'd be like, "Ugh." That's what I was like, and then they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "It's nasty."
yeah, it's really that bad. I remember, like, I came here, my dad and me are a connoisseur, so we bought the most expensive one, Guinness, with a ball in it. So there was a ball in it, and we pour it, and it was like, no, we are going to throw the Guinness away. It's not drinkable. The Guinness went into the bin. Like, you paid so much and gone.
Yeah, like when you drink first time, it's like, what is this? Because when I came here from Greece, I used to drink in Greece, beers with like Heineken, blonde beers. I didn't. I came here, I taste. First time this guy gave me Memphis, not Guinness, but similar. They say, what is this? After 1 year, I try in an Irish pub Guinness. They say, oh, that's good. I'm from them.
Look, it's part here discussion in our chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have correct people in the
makes
chat.
me Irish, and it is drinking druids.
Oh,
What?
exciting.
Yeah, druids.
People in Kerry used to drink that when we were like 16 at house parties.
What is it? I have no idea.
Druids. I think I made you drink it before because, like, I'm still like a 16-year-old knacker.
it's like a cider or something.
Okay. It's like Bulmers.
Strong
Yeah.
cider.
Oh, okay.
It's Bulmers, but a lot stronger. Bulmers is like 4%, where Druids is 6%, and Druids is probably nearly half the price.
I know, yeah. Really good for drinking outside in like public parks and stuff. That was always our thing when we couldn't get into clubs. It was like Druids was the go-to if you need to drink something in a bush. So good.
I think when this is over, when lockdown's over, we need to have a Druids party. And
Druids party.
anyone who's never had Druids will see the effects of Druids.
We can talk about alcohol all the night, I think. So, guys, one random question from me also. What is your favorite place in Ireland to be? Let's start from Hassan.
My favorite place in Ireland to be. That's a difficult one. I really like going to Dingle. It's a nice place.
Oh, okay.
It's one of my
Dingle
favorites.
whiskey.
There's this really nice. I went there I think about last summer with my mom, and we went to this like small chipper place. We got this fish and chips. It was so good. Like, it was a nice summer day. Had some fish and chips. Went for a nice walk along. Like, it's beautiful out there. It's definitely one of my favorite places to be in Ireland.
John?
Oh, see, I think I'm kind of copying Hassan. I'm also gonna say it's like a seaside town, but it's where my family went on holidays a lot. It's a place called Ballybunion in Kerry.
Yeah.
I really love any Irish seaside town because the weather is always terrible. It's far too cold. The water is freezing. The beach is like objectively shitty. It's like covered in rocks and everything. But there's something. It's still great. You can still get behind. Everyone still acts like it's Malibu or something. I love that suspension of belief. We're all just gonna pretend this beach is amazing, and everyone does, and it's always great.
Cool. Veronika?
There is really many places I love here because I love to travel when there is no lockdown. I really like Ring of Kerry. I like Cork. Cork it's cool city. I love Galway as well. Sligo or Connemara is awesome place too. So like it's plenty. I do miss here like big mountains because we have those in Slovakia. I really miss it here, but there's like other things I really can enjoy. So it's many places really.
Yeah, it's funny here. They say Wicklow Mountains. Where is the mountain?
It's like tiny hill. It's the mountain.
Yeah. And John?
For me, so I've got kind of like two answers to this one. So the first one for me would essentially be like anywhere that's kind of like foresty and mountainy. Like one of my favorite places to go is the do you know the Hellfire Club up in the mountains in Arcana?
Nice.
So I absolutely love going up there, and then anywhere that has like forests or like really tall trees. Like I love going on the off-road routes and those kind of parks that are down the countryside and anything where you just go off trail, go into a forest, and everything's just sort of trees and moss, and it's just everything is just pure nature. And the second one, I don't know if this counts, but one that became for me in recent years was because this might be it's UK technically, but Northern Ireland is essentially going to Belfast with the guys, and it's not essentially Belfast in itself, but it's the whole now tradition of going to the studio up in Belfast. So like, and it's a weird one as well because it's one that when you're up there, because there's a lot of sitting around and doing absolutely nothing while other people are recording their parts. And it's something that when it's happening at first, when someone else is recording, at first when they do their first few takes, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. But then after that, you're kind of like, I'm tired. But yet every time, it's absolutely like, I can't wait. And then each time as well that I talk about the breakfast on the way up, so it's not Belfast. I love Belfast in itself anyway. I went up there for a trip before and done indoor skydiving with my girlfriend and everything, and it was amazing. There's so much to see. But yeah, that would probably be the second one, just for the kind of whole tradition behind it. Like I actually like can't picture doing it any other way for going to the studio than going up there. And I'm hoping like next time when this is all lifted that we can actually hopefully go up for a few days, record singles, and actually see a couple of things up north as well that I haven't seen, such as the Giant Causeway and things. Maybe veer off and go to some other counties up there as well.
And when you go to Belfast, like, do you go there for a couple days or just one day there and other back?
So we've gone before for one night, and then the max we've only gone for is 2 nights. So we've stayed in Hassan's brother's pretty much most of the time. Part one, so we've stayed in his house, which has been a good laugh as well. There's been there's been a lot of crying, laughing moments with staying with Hassan's brother. Up in Belfast, then I also it allows me to the way the room setup is. I kind of run around when I can't sleep and scare the other guys and pretend to be a monster. But yeah, we usually just go up for 1 or 2 nights. We used to go up and record 2 singles at a time, but now we're switching to doing one, so we have a bit more free time.
Cool. We have somebody's mom watching someone. Whose mom is that?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Cool.
Oh, that's great.
So let's go to some more serious stuff. So Veronika and Hassan, can you tell us differences and similarities between the Irish scene and from your home country, and what scene do you enjoy the most?
I'm excited for this.
That's
Do not start, Hassan, go on.
there are a ton of differences, I guess, between Ireland and Pakistan. After I've been to Pakistan a good few times as well. Spent some time there. For starters, I mean, the obvious, people don't drink alcohol and stuff because it's a Muslim country. So things are quite different there. You probably wouldn't find playing metal in public to be a thing either. But then again, I guess in Ireland it's not as common either. It's not as mainstream. The climate is completely different. Over there, you have more extreme kind of like climate. It can be very, very, very hot, or it can get really, really cold. Like you can be looking at like 40 degrees. You can't sleep because how hot it is sometimes. And lots of spicy food. One thing my mom always says is like, the Irish people love to boil everything and take the flavor out of it.
Like, are there more spit in Pakistan, or is it too hot to bump into other people?
I mean, if you're talking about a busy market, it can be a mosh pit.
The traffic as well, probably.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another thing. There are literally no road rules. Every time I go there, I'm in the car with my brother who lives there, and I get serious anxiety. I'm like, how do you drive here? So the way people actually indicate to each other not to get in front of them is they just keep beeping. It's like, don't come in front of me. If someone's like cutting across, don't come in front of me. Beep, 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 beep. And you just stare at the seat like, shit, shit,
It's
shit.
like this.
But music-wise, are there any Pakistan metal bands that you can recommend, or you say there is not so much metal?
Honestly, I've not really heard of any. I'm pretty sure there are, but it's more kind of underground stuff. I wouldn't have really looked into myself either. I think most of the time people listen to a lot of Bollywood music, like Indian music,
Oh,
because they're so interlinked.
yeah.
So that would be the big thing there.
The second you said Bollywood, I just had to look at Tom straight away, and I saw his face straight
Yeah.
away. Like, yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
pushing for a Bollywood concept album this whole time. Every step counts. We're getting there.
Oh, let's travel to another country then. Veronica, can you give your
Yeah.
view?
So I mentioned that for me it's Ireland and Slovakia is somehow similar with people and everything. Like climate is a bit different. We don't have so much rain in Slovakia. It's more warm in summer and it's colder in winter. So you have all those 4 seasons, not like here. Here is like meh. I don't know. What I really miss is that Slovakia is like in the middle of the Europe. So you have band in Bratislava, and if you want to play gig in Prague or like Budapest, it will take you just like a few hours to go there by car. You don't need to deal with like any transportation. You just have a car, put the stuff there, and you go anywhere, which isn't really possible when you are on island. So there's like a huge difference for me. I feel somehow like we are like apart from the other Europe. It's a bit strange feeling. So that is like a big difference for me. And I think that like metal scene in Slovakia is a bit bigger, and you see more metal shows in there, and also like bigger bands are coming to Slovakia. I think they're avoiding Ireland mostly because of the UK, because they play there and they just don't bother to come here for some reason. So that's really like not a great thing. And that's all.
Any bands from Bratislava or from
Slovakia.
well, from that, Slovakia, from that place you can recommend to us?
Oh, for sure. There is a band called Shattered Mind, which is kind of new band. It's kind of metalcore. Like most of the bands are basically my friends because like it's small as well. So that's one band. And Landless, it's also very great kind of metalcore band. They sound a bit like Architects. So that's really cool. And really awesome band is John Wolfhooker, even though they are in the Czech Republic, but like 3 guys from 4 are from Slovakia and just 1 guy is from Czech. So I consider them a bit Slovak band as well. So these 3 I would highlight.
I have a question for vocalists. Hassan, you mentioned that with the scream, like you kind of damaged your voice. So, what kind of techniques would you do now before the performing? So, how do you keep your voice healthy? And do you take any lessons?
So for me, before when I was in the black metal band, I did not really do any kind of warm ups, which led to this. I was not really following much of a technique. I kind of just did it.